So the main reason for doing the demo was to get ready for early access. We wanted to make sure that, I think there are two big reasons. One is that because we knew that this game is very unique, we didn't want people to kind of jump into early access and be like, wow, this is not what I was looking for. Um, and so we wanted to give people a chance to really try the game, make sure there was the kind of experience that they were excited about, and it was a good fit for them. Because like I said, it is very niche. So that was one reason for doing the demo. Um, the second reason is that we really wanted to get feedback from more players, and the best way to do that, get that feedback, was to have a playable demo like the one we released a few days ago. It's great timing because it also lines up with Steam's Next Fest, which kicks off on Monday, the 13th of October, and lasts for a week. So we're going to be one of the games that are highlighted there. I'm very happy to see that we've actually just surpassed our goal for Wishlist at over 25,000, which is fantastic. I think that puts us in the top 4%, as Jack is always telling the team, which is great. So really happy to see that we're hitting a chord with some fans, and really happy for people who are joining us today for this live stream, and want to also take your questions too. But so the demo, the goal for the demo is to try to collect as much feedback as we can get. And actually I have to thank Alex for that, because one of the things that was very important to me is that we had a feedback system. I'm a big fan of a game called Subnautica. Really brilliant team, implemented in-game feedback system that I think was such a great idea, especially to have during early access, so that players had a very simple, no friction way to give feedback while they're playing the game. You just press F8, screen pops up, put in your feedback, take a screenshot, and then hit go, and then the dev team will see it. And that's exactly what Alex and the team have done with the demo. We have a feedback system. You can see it on the main menu. You can see it at any time by pressing F8. And that's been a great way for us to collect suggestions and bugs, and just general feedback. It runs the gamut. So really helpful, and big thanks to all the players out there who are contributing feedback in that way. We also have that player Discord I said earlier in the black. So we have a game discussion channel, and a couple of other channels to get feedback on controllers and things like that. Speaking of which, big kudos to the team for implementing Steam Deck support, which is pretty phenomenal. I know a few of us kind of doubted that was going to be possible, including our programmer here, Noah. But it looks like it has worked, so which is great. It's a big surprise, actually. So I think the key thing with that was actually nailing down the controls, which I think have come in just a couple of updates, have come a long way. So good job on doing that, Alex and team. I think it's really cool to see that, and a lot of players are big fans of Steam Deck, as we are. So that's cool. But also, the support for HOTUS, which is really important for players of the genre, has been kind of a really important thing for the team to nail. It's still it still has some ways to go, but we also support Logitech and Thrustmaster controllers pretty well. Is that right, Noah? Is that true?
Yes, and that support will be improving in the not too distant future, for sure. Because we're aware of like the flight pedals being an issue binding, certain things like that, peripherals that we need to support.
Perfect. Okay, cool. Yeah, so that's really exciting. So most of the actions and controllers should work with HOTUS, right? With some exceptions that we're going to continue to improve. So if you're using those controllers, definitely give us your feedback. Let us know. The best place to get feedback is in-game, using that in-game feedback that Alex's system worked on. That's really helpful because that ties right into our data collection system, and can easily assign it to a developer and stuff. So we get feedback on the Discord and some other places. It's a much more manual process, and we want to be able to prioritize everything and know how many different things are similar. So try to use the in-game system. Don't worry about it. If you're at a game and you think of something, absolutely go to our Discord server. We are reading everything. We may not be able to respond to every single comment, but read every single piece of feedback. Even the funny ones, even some of the mean ones, but we see it all. And we're happy to see it all. So thank you for all the players out there who already jumped in the demo. Really thank you. So, and then I want to say, before we kind of take a look at what the demo is, what's in the demo, what's not in the demo. The goal, as I said, was to let players know what this game is about, get feedback from them, and prioritize that feedback, whether it's bugs, optimizations, maybe some core additional content that needs to be in the early access game. Now, obviously, the early access game we're developing in tandem with the demo. So we have two games working on right now: the demo and the early access. The early access is actually in pretty good shape, but we're taking some feedback in demo and going to be applying to the early access game. There's a lot more content, obviously, in the early access, missions and things like that. So, PvP, which a lot of people want to see. That's obviously in the. This is a multiplayer hardcore space sim at its core, and that might not exist in the demo because we want people to really understand the physics and how to fly first, and get some training before you jump into early access. Make sure early access is right for you. So on early access, so the big question that we're seeing a lot of is when is it coming out, and as soon as possible is the answer. And I know that seems like, well, what does that mean? To me, that means within a short number of months. Not talking about a year, or I don't even think a half a year. I think we're talking like literally. We were just talking about this in the warm-up for the live stream. I think we're talking. Some of us would like to see it get it out within 2 months probably. Within about 8 weeks. Surely by the holidays is kind of a nice goal for us to do. We're not really thinking about some of the downsides of doing that and competing with other games that are launching at the same time. Like I think none of us are really thinking about those things. Uh, for example, our demo we kind of just launched this week along with Battlefield 6 coming out. But I think that this game is just we've been working on this so long, so we're not really concerned about the other games which might attract people's attention, which is fine. Like we're such a different type of game and so niche-y. I think we kind of we're off in a corner of the world somewhere. So anyway, so our goal is to get the early access as quick as possible. Like I hope we can get it up before the holidays. That's my goal. But it really depends on all the feedback we get this week from the demo. We've already gotten a lot of feedback from people who got the demo early, meaning because we put the demo up on the Steam store page a few days ago and didn't really tell that many people about it. We told our fans, and obviously LT Gaming saw it somewhere, so they got to play right away. And we actually already know, and the team already did a patch on the demo, which is amazing. They did a great patch yesterday and added some new content. Some of that really based on feedback we saw in the first couple of days of the demo. So the goal is to actually get all the feedback we're getting from Next Fest. So I think we're going to see a lot of players over the next few days, starting on Monday, as the festival kicks off. Super exciting. And then we're going to take all that feedback and we'll say, okay, what do we need to do for early access, and what can happen during early access? And we need all of your help out there to help us determine that. Let us know what you think is needed. The other thing we don't know what we're going to charge for early access yet. We're still figuring that out too. We want to make the game super accessible. Like for people, we want the most amount of players to be able to play. In a game like this, a hardcore space sim, I think you need to have a lot of players to have that community and to have a compelling experience with other friends, new and old. So we want to try to make it as affordable as possible. Some of the team was talking about maybe making it less than $20, which I think would be amazing. So I think we're definitely leaning way towards that, as cheap as possible. And eventually, our goal is to try to make it free to play so that we can hopefully earn enough revenue from cosmetics and things like that, things that don't impact gameplay, to be able to support the continued development and expansion of the game and potentially a franchise. We feel like this has the potential to be a franchise and build out to more and bigger things in terms of ships, corporations, narrative tied to the storyline of all the people playing. Like big multiplayer games, lots of people playing at once. Like we have a lot of great ideas and plans in our backlog, and we have the right people to do it. And I think whether we see the appetite and the interest from the players is kind of what determines if we will be able to do that. Right? That's what early access is all about. Okay, I said a lot. And I want everybody to kind of get a chance to speak also, and I think maybe since I'm not involved in studios day to day, I think much better people to hear from next is actually Noah and Alex and Al about what is in the demo and what's not in the demo. So I'll pass it off to you guys. I'll hang out here and I'll chime in as needed, but I think you guys are much better placed to kind of tell everybody what you've been working on and what's available today and what's not available.
Yeah, thank you, Edmar.
Capture Charlie.
So what's in the demo? It's a pretty tight look at just either single player content. There's some training missions. There's a couple co-op or solo missions, and there's no PvP. It's exclusively PvE. Bloodsport is our PvP mode, and that'll be in the release version of the game and support
targeted.
You know, anywhere from 4v4 to 8v8.
Enemy forces captured.
We recently added the squad system, which we're testing for the demo, and that still needs a little work, but for the most part, it seems to be working as intended. You'll be able to go into your matches with your friends versus other players and earn money and increase your bottom line and hopefully stay positive, which is in the black. So yeah, I don't know if we wanted to. We're currently playing a belt match. I don't know if we're.
You want to show it on the screen?
Yeah. Show all our streams.
I can start the match if we.
Temperature status. Weapon disabled. Temperature status.
Well, you guys are figuring that out. I'm going to take a look at some of the comments here and questions. But yeah, I think if you guys could start sharing your screens, that would be great. Okay, I think there we go. He's getting that going. Will the demo get PvP at all? This is a good question. We've seen this a few times. So Noah, do you want to take this one?
That's not the plan right now. If there's a very large demand for it, possibly. But I think, like Edmar was talking about earlier, the plan is to focus on moving to release. Like the demo is just for feedback, and it's not meant to be all aspects of the full game. That wouldn't be.
Enemy forces capture Charlie.
I don't think a wise decision on our part to provide all of that content. So no PvP planned at the time. We can have internal discussions about that.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Again, we're getting some comments on the audio volume. So Al, if you just make sure that our voices are much higher priority than the game audio. Game audio should be pretty low. Yeah, I think the idea here, as I said earlier, Noah just reiterated that the point of the demo is to give people a really experience of the mechanics and the general feel and style of gameplay. It's not to provide a full game experience. That's what early access is for. But that being said, you did just add co-op, which is kind of makes it fun to bring in with other players. So you can get kind of the experience in terms of a squad. But PvP is definitely more of the full game experience that will be coming in early access, which currently works right now. We have people who are beta testing that on our Discord server, and if you're really passionate about it, maybe we can get you a key. If you promise to give us really good feedback, then that's always an option. So ping us on the Discord server, and we'll take a look at that. And maybe as we talk about some of these links, Al, maybe you can post something if you're able to, or else I'll do it in a second. You can post them in the chat so people know where to go.
Yep.
For our Discord server, for the Steam page. Maybe we want to link to that LT Gaming review that hit this week, which was really nice. Like, that's a good way. If you haven't downloaded the demo and you're not sure if this game's for you, you can watch that video. It gives you a pretty good feel of what you'd be able to experience, and you can tell right away if that's not something you'd be into. So maybe that's a good first step. We will definitely be able to provide a trailer and things like that in our Steam page, of course, about what's going to be in the early access. So we're not going to just throw early access out there so people and expect people to know what's in there. So we'll have an updated trailer for that. We've been really good, thanks to Noah and the team, about providing great notes about our patches, and you can continue that to keep going on. We want to have a regular cadence of those updates. So I think the number one source of truth is going to be our Steam page. So go to the news area of our Steam page, the community hub, and we are going to be very good about posting updates there. But some people have said, I've seen some comments, hey, you guys never post updates about the game, and it's so far in between. That is and it's not true. We've been actually very communicative with the fans on our Discord server. Every you know every week, every month, every a year. Not everybody's been on our Discord server, so they obviously wouldn't see that. But we haven't felt a necessary need or just a benefit to have communicating to the wider audience until we really had something to show off, which is the reason why we're doing this live stream today and releasing the demo and so on and so forth. So
Target
okay, cool.
destroyed.
So I think people are able to see the game now, right?
Believe so, yes. Having some technical difficulties. Is it just on the Steam that's having issues?
The stream's having issues?
Is the
Temperature status.
sorry, the comments where there's something about Steam?
Their comments were talking about the audio values.
Audio,
was
right. I think we fixed that a while ago.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we hear from Super Dry Nuts saying, "Yep, all good." Thank you, Super Dry Nuts.
Thank you.
It's very kind of you. So audio is looks to be better. So thanks for the feedback.
Target destroyed.
Yeah, it looks like the consistent issue has been the audio. So actually, it's a good note on that.
Destroyed.
This is our first live stream, really, in
First official.
Actually, Al did a couple of smaller ones,
Yeah.
but this is the one we wanted to make where we wanted to really go over things in more depth. So we're trying new software, and so you might see a couple little learning steps here as we improve the live stream format and the technology we're using, and computer setups and everything. So if things aren't going smoothly, they're going to get better over time. And big thanks to Alex who's here, working all the magic behind the scenes. I know it's a lot to juggle.
Who just shot that missile? Was it you, Noah?
It was.
Yeah, I was trying to snipe that guy. You just like obliterated him.
Target locked.
So, do you mind if I ask a quick question, just a personal one?
Of course.
So, when it came down to juggling the fun factor with the realism that would be set in the future, how did you guys go about designing those features, or what motivated you to balance the two?
So we looked at, one of our inspirations was things like the Expanse and stuff like that, where there wasn't a lot of it was more conventional weapons being used, and there was torpedoes, and we have versions of those in the game. But one of the things I think that makes us stand apart is that the ships all have pretty high fidelity armor sections modeled into their hulls. That they have interior bulkheads and things that can eat rounds and deflect rounds back outside of the ship if a penetration occurs. And I think that really stands apart, and that's possibly one of the things that has, or that's definitely been one of the things we've been focused on optimizing recently.
Target
is that whole process. Making combat feel good and getting a really good railgun shot on the reactor area of an enemy ship feels really good. And it takes some time to learn where the weak points of a ship are based on its angle, if its nose is facing you versus its stern, and things like that. And I think we do that pretty well. I'm impressed with how our combat can feel 99% of the time.
And I think also this sort of ties into what you were saying earlier, Noah, which is that there's a balance between fully simulating everything and then faking stuff. And even in really, really high fidelity simulations, that are used for training computer vision models to then, go out and do stuff in the real world, even those simulation models don't necessarily fully simulate everything, and it's actually beneficial at times to fake stuff. So we're definitely doing some of that, and then also um, because we're not really setting that goal to. I mean, we can't make a universe sandbox, right? So we have to sort of um, choose where we progress our realism, and we can sort of choose where we stop with that for when we reach a good design balance. So we kind of, you know, there's a little bit of wiggle room, um, but we make sure that everything that is in game and everything that is simulated is backed by hard science, so there's a clear explanation for everything.
Good point. Speaking of realism, Al, I think you're showing the production screen of the stream.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. People get to see a behind the scenes look
Yeah.
at what Al's desktop is looking like. That's crazy.
Oh no.
There you go. Again, this is kind of one of the first times we're juggling a stream like this, so we're still fooling around with the software and everything. So let us know your feedback. Let us know if something's not looking right or sounding good. We're getting another note from MK Powers from YouTube. Reduce the game audio another 20%, please.
I'm getting turn it up. I'm getting turn it down.
No, always turn game audio down. Always on a live stream like this. People need to be able to hear us.
I have mine at like 20, I think. What's yours at?
Who's that for?
Oh, for Al.
I'm sorry. What's my audio at?
Yeah.
I know I have my audio pretty low. I'll turn that up.
Yeah. In game, I have
game
mine
capture
at
is
like
low.
20 normally.
I know that Discord is up.
All right, so we can see whose screen we're looking at now.
We should be looking over at Noah's.
Noah, okay. No, you want to talk about this ship a little bit?
The Reus?
Yeah.
Some of those might recognize the design styling a little bit. It's got a little bit of a Rocinante pedigree, I think, the Rocinante, if you will.
The Rocinante.
But yeah, the Remco was the one that actually modeled this ship, and it's more of a missile boat CIWS platform. There are options to give it some fixed forward firing firepower, but generally it's best employed as a defense based platform for capture points. It's got some the missiles are very effective on it. We'll put it that way.
We actually have a good question here. Oh, go ahead, Noah.
Go ahead. No,
we have a question about people are asking. This is coming in from Abba on YouTube. Is it planned to give more of an indication of the differences between ship variants? Some seem identical by the listed stats. Which stats seem pretty close?
I think a short answer to that is yes. One of the things that we need to work on is better stat display of the ships. Like that's been internally, we've known that's been an issue for a very long time. Also, making meaningful differences between each variant or ship. Some have more armor, they're heavier, they have a lower thrust to weight ratio, lower maneuvering capability, but they're harder to kill. Things like that. And
I think this viewer is actually speaking more specifically about the Shrike variants.
The Shrike,
the stats seem identical.
I think that might just be an issue with the stat display system. Like the Shrike Escort is definitely different. It has a more protected engine reactor area. It has 3 small thrusters versus 1 large, so it gives it a little bit of redundancy. The electronic warfare sensor packages we have plans to increase both the gameplay implications of those upgrades and the visual implications of those upgrades as well.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
also,
there will be a more visually and statistically noticeable difference between some of the variants. Some of them might stay pretty close to each other, but they should have. You should know the difference very easily, and that's part of we need to improve our communication via the UI to the player as to what those differences are, right? Like you should know if you're buying a variant of a Shrike, why it's different from the one you currently own. So yeah, that'll be something where we will address for sure.
And I think it would also be really nice to communicate to players what weapons are more effective in certain scenarios. So, for instance, a pretty recent uh, design change that we made was to increase missiles' vulnerability to heat damage, because missiles don't have armor, and then also heat, like lasers, are going to really mess up their sensors. Um, so yeah, just communicating that to the player, because otherwise you may have someone designing their ship and they just put Gatling guns all over it and like 2 missile launchers for their Reus, not knowing, oh wait a minute, if I have no lasers, then I'm just gonna get rocked by missiles the whole time.
Yeah.
good point. Good point. We got another question here. Will there be any setting? This is coming from MK Powers. Will there be any setting to have CIWS on auto, only target missiles defensive? Let me read that
Ooh,
again.
yes.
Will there be
I
any
think
setting
We've
to
talked
have?
about that. We've talked.
Yeah.
I've wanted that. I want more. So if we go back to the hard points editor, right here you can set your weapon groups. Ideally, I don't. Is my screen up?
Yes, now we see it.
Okay. Okay. Ideally, you would be able to set is C was active by default for this group. Like the more control over the default state of your ship, what its target prioritization schemes are, things like that. Like there's a lot of that in the back end that exists that we haven't bubbled up to the front end or the UI for it to allow users to modify. Um, and this is just a symptom of having small team that there's a million things to do at any given time on this project, and that.
Actually, that's a great point to bring up. So Noah just referenced a small team. This is absolutely a small team. So when people are are wondering about the pace of things or anything like that, for us to get to this point in time, we really have a team. It's a handful basically. Maybe between a handful and between 5 and 10 people are working on it, but really a handful are working on it day to day. To give you an idea, this is a very indie project. There's no publisher behind this. And there's really just our passion. So really proud of the team for being able to put this together, knowing all that. All right, I got another question here that would be good to take. And first of all, I want to ask: is the audio much better for people in watching the stream? Just let us know if the audio is okay, or if anything still seems out of whack. Okay, the other question I wanted to address is, you guys just actually added, based on feedback you were seeing from players, you added a Zoom feature. Let's talk about that for a second. Why do you think players wanted that, and how easy was that to get in?
Yeah, so I worked on the active target zoom system. There's 2 modes, one where you can manually scroll in to zoom in at an active target, and another one which basically adds a multiplication factor per kilometer that you're away that your target is, and you can fine tune it pretty precisely. And there's also a pitch and yaw scaler based on your current active target zoom value. So you can really dial in and snipe really well. And I added that. It was sort of like a side thought. Um, I was kind of here and there between code commits. I was like, oh, let's do this, and then based on player feedback, it sounded like it was something that people really wanted. So I went full force and fully implemented the feature. And I think it's come out really well. I think like I come from, man, I started playing Counter-Strike, I think when I was like 10, right? So definitely love sniping in games. And
Where were your parents when you were 10 years old?
Yeah. I was hanging out downtown at a digital cafe. Thinking about it now, the guy running that place, like, Jesus, but okay, anyway, sorry. Yeah, and I had an older brother. I had an older brother and, you know, his friends and stuff. So, definitely, yeah. And I've always been a gamer. I mean, my parents did not let me play those games. I was always sneaking it. So I had to hide them
That's good to
on
know.
I had to hide them on my computer, and now I'm a software engineer. So there you go.
It all worked out. It all worked out.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So active target zoom. Yeah, it's very
in a match.
Yeah. Do you guys want to do? Yeah, let's do open space. But yeah, I think we definitely need to do more balancing with the sniping, with the railgun. I think that's a huge design challenge for most first-person shooters, and I think that in the coming future we will have updates that will both balance sniping so it's not totally overpowered, but also add realism. I don't want to give away too much right here, but I don't know. I guess
Hashtag remove the railgun from the Shrike.
Yeah, well, maybe. So it's, you know, like your reactor only has so much output. So maybe while your railgun's charging, your CIWS lasers
or an appropriate power.
Right. They have
utilization system.
Scale down their power so you're more vulnerable to missiles, that kind of thing. It's also worth noting that, you know, magnets are less effective the hotter they get. So maybe there's a power reduction if you're just spamming the railgun constantly. That would encourage more precise, infrequent shots. But yeah, all of that is on the drawing board still. So yeah, we can't promise we're not promising any of that right now. We're still trying to figure it out and see what works best for gameplay.
No, what are you doing? Are you bouncing off your ship?
Yeah,
I'm trying to tell Alex that we should go play a mission while
I thought we were waiting for you. I'm sorry.
We didn't want to get
let's play some
open
He's knocking on your door, Alex.
Slamming
all right.
drones into your ship. Let's go.
This is one of our
So a couple good questions here while you guys get the match going. One is, well, first of all, suggestion, slight adjustment to targeting HUD might be nice, so I could still see my damage model while targeting someone else. So I'm not sure.
Yes. Okay. So I'll address this, and this is a feature that I've been working on in the background for a while. Is replacing this with a much more updated version. This like little hologram. Damn.
I just got sniped by a bot.
Yeah, the AI.
Yeah. So again, definitely need to tweak some railgun balancing for sure.
Yeah.
I think I just turned on my sensors too, so that might have encouraged them to target me.
So,
sorry, you were saying something.
Yeah, now I'm sniping, so I'm super distracted. But yeah, like updating the targeting display to while you're zoomed, you can see it. It's not a little 3D model that floats in front and slowly drifts off your ship screen over time, depending on where you are. Like it's an old system that has been neglected for far too long. I think it's about time to take a look at it, but we need to properly prioritize what we do and when to make the best overall experience for everyone, right? So that's just something to consider. But nice. I would say that you can expect that targeting display damage readout to be improved in the not too distant future.
Okay, cool. Well, that's great to hear. A couple of good questions. And Al, I don't know if you have the ability to do this, but on some of these comments, when I read them, are you able to put the comment on the screen easily or no?
I have it over here on my left.
Oh, it is. Okay. So we're seeing, so, but for other people to see?
For other people to see, no.
Okay. All right. So I'll just read them.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have another question here. What do the sensors do exactly in the game? And that's from MK Powers.
Right now, they just increase. So most of the matches that we're playing, their function is to increase the detection range of enemy vessels. Certain ships, like the Shrike, have an enhanced detection range, and you share your sensor information with your friendlies via line of sight comms links. Now that doesn't really apply in open space because everything's so close together and there's no occluding geometry, but a Shrike is supposed to be a scout type vessel. Like it can designate and detect things further than a Reus can. Obviously, those aren't going to be super realistic values because we're limited in the amount of space we have to play because of Unreal. So, like, let's say, for instance, the Shrike can detect something at 15 kilometers with its sensors retracted. It goes up to 25 with them deployed. You'll see that more in the bigger maps in the like large belt map, and there's quite a few others that we have where that does become a factor. Also, ship detectability is a thing that we're going to. So how likely or what their detection, I guess, output is.
Range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's also we definitely want to add more electronic warfare to the game because I mean realistically that would be a huge piece
It's
of
happening
it.
today.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, no, honestly, in real life, like a ton of conflict between countries is done on the internet, which is nuts. But yeah, and I think that sensor systems are definitely going to be a big part of the electronic warfare system because all of the ships, all friendly ships share sensor data with each other, and if there's a bunch of enemy ships between, um, two groups of ships in another faction, you would presume that the enemy ships would be able to jam and isolate that other ship from their friendly sensor network. So that's also on the design board.
I think that's going to be really fun. All right, I've seen this next question and comment actually coming from a couple of different people here in this existing chat, but I've also seen this many times as comments on the Discord server and the feedback system. Can we get a setting to automatically have linear damping off and someone else add to that, or it should just be off by default? No, I see you smiling there. What's your take on linear damping?
The answer is yes, and that kind of rolls back into what I was talking about earlier in the ship editor, like a more comprehensive, like default settings modification area, like
Cool.
how your CIWS does, what your linear dampening values are,
and I think
go ahead.
We'd probably do that in the demo too, right? Not just for early access.
Yeah, we could expose some of that. I think pretty easily.
Yeah, we'll see. This sounds like a twist.
I wouldn't make any promises for the demo right this second.
Okay. All right, you heard it here. Noah's promising to get it set up in the demo just like that.
Okay.
All right, another question. Speaking of the demo, people are asking exactly how is the build right now in the demo? How does it differ from what some players are testing in the beta of early access? What are some of the big differences? Obviously, PvP, the missions, right? What
PvP,
else?
number of missions, access to ships. You can't buy ships in the demo. There's a very limited module, like your subsystems and weapons on the ship. You have a very limited selection there. And
the number of ships, right? There's different number of ships. There's more ships.
Yeah, I mean, there's a Hyperion, Colibri,
Pegasus.
Yeah, actually, there's a really good graphic Remco did. We'll put it up on Discord later for people who are watching on YouTube. Go to our Discord and we can follow up the live stream with some more of the questions and comments. But Remco did a nice graphic comparing all the ships because the Shrike is actually pretty small compared to the Hyperion, of course. It's actually insane how the size
it's comically small.
Yeah.
It's like a scooter versus a tank.
Exactly.
Right? Like,
but I think that's one of the reasons why the Shrike is so cool, though. It's very nimble.
Yeah, but it's impossible to hit. Okay, so we've had some internal discussions about this, and I'll just be a little transparent right now. It's like we've talked about scaling the Shrike up because I think it has its place being small. It shouldn't be too much bigger than it is now, but it is like hilariously small compared to every other ship in the game. And for its firepower output, it might be a little imbalanced, and that's a balancing thing, and we'll have our own internal discussions about that.
Yeah,
that was my knee-jerk kind of thoughts on the Shrike, and it would just fit better with being able to see it, because right now you can only really see it if you're sub 1 kilometer.
Yeah,
and with your new zoom system, that's not true because you can be a Hubble telescope now. So
yeah, totally, yeah. And I think that also just from a hard science perspective, having a nuclear reactor
and small size
and a rail gun, the amount of cooling that you would need for something like that would be I don't think you could fit it in this form factor.
Probably not. And the Shrike is a legacy ship.
It was the first ship, right?
It was the first ship. It's been in the branding since,
It is definitely the golden child. So a sneak peek, just in the dev process. Usually if there are bugs with the ships, it's not in the Shrike. Because it is the golden child of this game.
It always works. Everything works on the Shrike. But then the Reus or the Hyperion or any of the other ships we're working on are just no, we're not going to do the same thing the Shrike does.
It has a special place in our heart for sure.
That's funny. Well, yeah, the original ship. That was a fun one to see the original concept for way back when. We had so much debate over what this ship would actually need to look like to work in space, and this because the reality is there's no air, obviously, right? There's no air resistance in space, so you don't need to have wings and the kind of things that you need in airplanes. And like Jack said earlier, Star Wars definitely has leaned heavily more on designing ships that look like they would work in air. But the Shrike was kind of it kind of could still look cool. The wings, just little wings like that, even just look cool.
Yeah.
We had a question earlier. This Alex. So this is also just kudos to you. Someone was saying, "Oh my God, I didn't know you guys overhauled the feedback system." And another player, Mad Max, replied that on the feedback system, can you explain the highest severity? It's a little unclear from the form. Is 5 meant to be the highest severity?
Yes. Yeah, I meant to make that. I should add a tooltip to that, actually, because before there was just kind of a bunch of text to the right of severity that looked kind of clunky, but I will definitely add a tooltip to this.
Okay, cool.
That explains it a bit more. Yeah, thank you.
That's great. All right, let me see. We got trying to see if we have a good question here. Heat and power could be a good balance to offset similar cross section, but still have a big gun. The weapon stats, can we have an effective range stat so we have an idea of engagement ranges? That's pretty good.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
We had that UI for quite some time. I haven't, during my time away, I'm not sure where that went. We'll find it and we'll put it. But all the weapons know what their optimal effective range is. like missiles know that with your sub 500 meters, you probably like that. It's too close. It won't be able to maneuver quickly enough to track the target, and there are some other things like that. So we do have those indicators somewhere in the project that we need to find.
Big which, Noah, in your time away, you were not at an asylum or anything. You actually worked on a very cool game made by our friend Joe Halper, right? And you and Remco. Maybe it did feel like an asylum.
I mean, technically, we were dealing with phobias and psychology. So
Yeah, true. Yeah,
a little bit.
If someone's got a VR, Noah and Remco both worked on a great game, and are still working on a great game with our friend Joe Halper from Grit Games, called Nope. Right? That's the title.
Yeah, Nope Challenge.
Nope
It's
Challenge.
on the MetaQuest 2 and 3.
Really, really. So if the game is so funny, actually, funny and a little scary depending on who your fears in life. But it actually does. You have spiders, you've got clowns, you've got heights. Really, really cool. And some of the videos I've seen of people playing are hilarious. And I guess the best place to see that is to follow the Grit Games channel. Happy Manic. Sorry, Happy Manic. Happy Manic Games. I think his old studio was Grit. Happy Manic. So that's cool. So where is that game at right now? You guys are working on something currently, right? Or no?
I don't know if I can talk about.
Yeah. So you don't need to say, but right now, so people can buy it right now.
Yeah. The base game is released.
Okay, and there may be some surprises in the future. We'll see. But anyway, it's a good game to check out. I would check out Nope VR. But that's what Noah. And so anyway, the reason why I wanted to bring that up also, not only to give a shout out to Joe and you guys working on this, but the other question we get a lot is regarding VR, because that's something we talked a lot about in the.
Oh, I see where you're going with this. Okay.
Beginning of the studio. We talked about VR support, and I think in our Kickstarter video we had some headsets we were fooling around with, and at different points in the project we have fooling around with VR, and it's actually. It works somewhat, right? It needs to have UI changes, especially menus, all that kind of stuff. Depending on the hardware, the assets may need to be, different quality level. But I think generally our goal for VR is we would love to support it. I think this game is an absolutely natural fit for VR, especially being a cockpit experience. It's perfect. You can look around. But that's not our core focus. Our core focus is getting this really good experience on PC, and VR is secondary to that. And it really depends on if there's enough demand. If we have the players supporting the game, and of those players we have people who really want VR, then I think that we will do our best to support VR. It's a goal of mine for sure. So we're not dismissing VR at all. I think that would be really fantastic. I mean, I think all of us would like to see VR in this game.
Yes, I agree.
And Noah's experience on working on Nope VR, I think would be super helpful for this project too. Okay, so cool. So yeah, so stay tuned for that, but definitely not something that we're thinking about for early access at this point. We really want to focus on. We'd love to hear from people who are actually playing on the Steam Deck, actually. So let us know how the experience, especially with the latest control. So what did you change? How did you make the controls better, Alex?
So let me think.
Because at the beginning, I think there were some issues, right? With was it with its weapons or?
I think I mean most of it was just trying to get all of the functionality into the Steam Deck controllers. Like I think. And a lot of it was me and Jad going back and forth and figuring out what would work best for people, and like how to utilize the, what is it, L4 and 5R4 and 5.
Yeah.
But yeah, really it fits quite well. Like I don't actually think that we have any functionality missing from the deck. So you can translate forward, back, left, right, up, down, toggle your sensors. You can even target friendly entities. Yeah, it really is all there. And now with the the mouse sensitivity scaling, like while you're zooming with the ATZ, like I was sniping bots last night, easy on the deck, which is
Nice. That's great.
rare. It's rare. That's rare for an FPS playing with a controller for sure. I think having
Yeah,
like really
Jack has been really surprised. He's had a lot of fun playing on Steam Deck, and he's a hardcore PC guy.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I do most of my testing now. Actually, is if I'm I'll be sitting on the couch watching TV and I got the Steam Deck there.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, so actually, what probably Noah thought I was going to start to talk about, which I do want to talk about now, because I see a nice comment about it regarding head tracking. So we actually were working with Track IR, the hardware folks, several years ago, and wait a second, right here. So no, I'm gonna mail this to Noah. So we've had a few people ask about Track IR support. I need to get back in touch with these guys about any latest updates that we can help support. But we would like to support Track IR. I think it's something that is in the priority. I think there are some bigger things right now in terms of other bugs, things we've got to fix, and feedback from the demo. But I think we would love to see head tracking in there. Yeah, I think it would just add to the experience for a certain number of players. But when you look at all the players, it's not like most players, but there's some players who really like it. So we'll try to support it. Like I said, I have it here, so obviously our intentions are very clear. We would like to support it, so we'll try to get it going. MK Powers just threw in this comment a second ago. Controller gamepad settings, can we just click a button on the controller and map it to that? What was he talking? Oh, I'm sorry. Let me read this back. This two comments in one. Head tracking kind of required coming from somebody, and being able to from someone else, and being able to decouple to steer the ship while free looking. Controller gamepad settings. Can we just click a button on the controller and map it to that? I've had a lot of issues with remapping. That's from MK Powers. I think we've definitely seen some of those feedback comments regarding remapping.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
It's a known issue, and we will do our best to address as many of the input system issues as we can.
Yeah. All right, so this is coming from mapping controller bindings,
I believe so, if I'm reading it correctly.
or is it keyboard? Because right now we have official gamepad. Yeah. So we have if you have an Xbox controller, what I would recommend right now is to go into the game. I know this is kind of a pain in the butt, but if you go into the game properties controller, you enable Steam input, and then if you go to the community, actually it should just select it by default now. So yeah, all you should have to do is select enable Steam input, and it'll map your controller bindings to the keyboard and mouse bindings. And so that's how it works for the Steam Deck controller support currently.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, that's great. Thank you for explaining that. So many good bits of information here. We got another question. This is coming from on YouTube also. I don't know. We're streaming to other channels too right now, Al. Are we?
We got Steam back up.
We Steam. Okay, I can't see comments from there. So are you able to see any comments coming in from there?
Let me double check. Last time I checked, I didn't see any viewership.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure we're not skipping anybody. So right now I'm just pulling from the YouTube live chat. It's great to see these people watching today. And obviously, if you're watching after the fact, thanks for watching this replay. Hopefully by the time you're watching this, we've updated the table of contents in the description, so you can kind of jump ahead to different things we're talking about. We'll do that afterwards. Got a big shout out to Al, actually, because Al's been super helpful on the production team, especially since I'm not really involved in the project day to day. Al has been working very closely with Dave Westman and Jack Mamias. Nathan, who's actually helping us with some videos right now, big shout out to him. He's got a video coming out explaining the demo. That should be up on one of the channels soon. But Al's doing a lot of juggling and helping us get ready for Steam Next Fest. All right, we've got a question here from YouTube. Any plans for mouse VJoy? Kind of like a tether to pull the nose of your ship for yaw and pitch, similar to games like Star Citizen and Elite Dangerous. Since there are a few people like me that use stick and mouse, or HOSAM, HOSAM.
Yeah. So I'll say this as far as in different input control schemes. We've looked into the chase mode, which is very similar to War Thunder. War Thunder's aircraft control mode that you can in there, and then also VJoy for Star Citizen. I can't promise anything right now, but I would expect that those would make their way in eventually.
Okay, cool.
Because like I do like chase look where the ship is always trying to like aim at where your cursor is instead of directly controlling the ship with your cursor.
So you mentioned War Thunder. It sounds like you're a little familiar with that game, Noah. Is that true? You got a little bit of experience?
Maybe. I was playing it in high school. It's crazy. It's still hanging around. But then again, so are we. So
it's true. Okay, loving all these questions and comments. So thank everybody for watching and for Al for setting this up. I want to make sure we address anything really big. Let me ask Noah this, and this goes to Alex too. And but what we don't need to, obviously nobody's gonna get mad if this doesn't happen. But what do you hope will be added to the demo? What are your current plans in terms of any updates to the demo over the next couple of weeks or so? Anything like big are probably going to make it in that you want to tell people about, or do you want to kind of keep it a secret? You did a big update yesterday with the co-op, I think.
Yeah, so selectable difficulty for drone sweep is on the way, which increases payout. If you play with 4 players, it'll get very hard. You'll be able to make it very hard because it scales in addition based on the number of players that play it. That'll be interesting. And then addressing a lot of the feedback. Like that's why we did the demo, is to get feedback, start implementing those fixes and requests. So if you haven't and you have really good ideas, we'd love to hear them. You can use the in-game feedback option or post on any of our socials. We directly get the in-game feedback stuff, so that's probably the best way to do it.
Yeah. We actually, just on that note, this is how quickly we get it. Mike on our team, Mike Burke, is amazing. Also, passion project for him as well, so he kind of works in his spare time on it, but he's just a back-end, god. He's anything you can think of it, he can do it. So he actually just tied into our feedback system, because normally it goes to a database that we can look up and see, but he actually tied it into our Discord server that we're using internally for the team. So the team, anytime you hit feedback, it comes up and we'll see it. Now, I'm not saying that to tempt you guys to write something naughty in there, because we do see it pretty much in real time.
There's a spam filter.
Yeah, keep it legit. Keep it keep it professional, people. But we will see your feedback there, and I think that's a great thing to leverage. I'm so glad that we got that in there. Let me see. Okay,
yeah, so more stuff that we want to add. Definitely like target type for CIWS. That like the second that I added the heat vulnerability for missiles, that was something that I wanted specifically for helping people defend themselves from missiles. And then also, yeah, railgun balancing is definitely going to come. Possibly lag pip. We have a lead pip right now, but having a lag pip has been something that's been asked for a lot. Yeah, I can't think of anything else that's been asked for.
No, it's good. That's a lot. I think that's great. Again, we want to leverage the demo to practice, to get really good, because when early access hits and you're going to be playing other players, that practice is going to come in very much handy, because you will. It can be very challenging playing, and it's super fun to watch and spectate and obviously be part of. So use the demo as good training grounds. I think our bots are actually pretty challenging. Some people confuse them with real players. They didn't know that they weren't real players actually. So that's good. But I think after a while you get to kind of detect some of their challenges in flying. But most of the time they're pretty fun and makes for some fun gameplay. All right, we got a couple more questions here. Wow, this is a great comment actually. This is, and we've heard this a lot over the years, especially more and more recently. And again, we started this game before Expanse was even out as a TV show. So we had already nailed down this style before then, but it was really nice to see that the Expanse was actually leveraging the same kind of realistic look and feel on their TV show. But hear this comment a lot. This is the closest thing to Expanse now in terms of combat and flight, apart from Verse Project. So I'm going to check out Verse Project. And then actually someone else said a few minutes before that, this makes me want to watch The Expanse again. One of the scenes that was on the screen that you guys were sharing. So that's a huge compliment. I think we've done a lot. I got to thank Remco for the screen we're seeing right now. I think he did that screen. But I think
there are a little couple bugs that we're in the process of fixing with it.
Oh, I lost money on that contract because of my repair cost.
I did too.
Hey, capitalism.
I got shot in the face by a railgun.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm curious to see player feedback on this because, I mean,
on the match screen.
Well, on whether or not you can lose money from contracts, because yeah, like if you just don't get any kills and you don't win, and your ship gets totally destroyed, like I don't know, I feel like that's fair, right?
It's realistic. I think it's realistic.
Yeah, I think that's realistic
that's part of the namesake of the game, right? In the black. The opposite of that is you're in the red, right?
Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that, but that's definitely one of the main reasons for finalizing this name, which is trademarked, by the way. So in the black is our official name. We were in the working title in the development was Starfighter Inc. for a while, and then before we nailed down the final name, and in the black is a nice double entendre for being in space, which is obviously dark and black. And then for people outside the U.S. who might not be familiar with the accounting term, Noah just referenced it a minute ago, but in the red means that you're in debt, you're not doing good financially, and in the black means you got a profit. So that's the reason why we narrowed down on the game name. Good comment here from Mad Max or Max Mad Max. Cost system is good. Also incentivizes going back to rearm and repair instead of respawning. Oh, that's a good point. We have another question here from Aba. Your website mentions a PMC career mode. Can you elaborate on that? Jack's not here. He'd probably love talking about this, but Noah, do you want to tackle it?
I don't really know. Well, like, I remember vaguely what like that whole. It was a more campaign driven experience.
Yeah, and I think we will have eventually. I think we're gonna have a nice balance of single player content and multiplayer content. So, well, I think the original vision of the idea, and I think something which is still achievable. Again, this depends on player appetite, but I always thought it would be really compelling to take the stats that we're seeing from day to day in the game from the different corporations and look at those stats to see which corporations overall are winning and losing and cater a narrative based on that so that we're providing updates. Maybe a corporation, because they're winning so much, maybe they have more resources. Maybe the company that's losing, maybe they do some espionage in the storyline and there to try to get ahead. So I think that'd be a really cool, interesting way to kind of play out, because I think we did get a few comments about what is the narrative or the backstory between some of these corporations. And believe me, we actually have a lot that's already been written. It's just a matter of like, how we tell that story. But I definitely hope we can do that. We've got another question here. Any way to set the camera angles so I can quickly look backwards to gauge distance to the rapidly approaching asteroid or station?
Hold up. Like, this was in... I haven't used it in forever, obviously. Okay, so let's just do an open space real quick.
Okay.
Alex, if you don't mind.
I think
or I can go into free flight by myself.
I don't think we have anything bound to mouse 3 by default, do we?
There is a modifier key for change view that should cycle between the whole cameras, and one of those is a rear-facing camera.
Okay. That's different than C, right?
I think it's like Shift or Control C.
Oh, okay.
Just go. Wait, can you ready? Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I was staring at my keyboard. It's like.
So yeah, yes, we will have alternate cameras, maybe like exposed bindings for like the reversed camera specifically, or something like that.
Oh yeah,
But
it's Control C.
yeah,
That's kind of cool. I like that.
Nice
so I guess
comment.
mine's unbound.
Okay.
Then
Go ahead, Noah.
go ahead. Or I guess mine's unbound. Mine doesn't work. So if you want to show Alex's stream, you can see it.
Yeah, if you want to watch mine, you can.
Big thanks to Al for manning the controls on this live stream. Very, very well done, Al. See, this is not an easy thing to do.
I'm getting blasted. Oh my god. Okay, hold on.
Big welcome to a long-term fan of the game I see in the chat. Sniper Czar is here.
Hey.
Oh. Wow.
Welcome. I'm tempted to use a soundboard here on Discord, but I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna offend everybody. All right, so we've got a good question or comment from Sniper Czar. End of game screen looks good. Any chance it will include all the ships you've played switch between in a match instead of just one of them? That's actually, I hadn't seen that before.
Yeah, right now it chooses your best ship that you, or the ship you performed the best with. We talked about doing that, where you could view all ships you used in the match and all other player ships. It just seemed like a little out of scope for the refactor of the end game screen. That's a lot of data to like make sure client or like you have on your end. I'm not saying it's an impossibility. It's not on our horizon at the moment. Yeah.
But well, these are great feedbacks because eventually, if there's, like I said, there's enough players in the game, enough interest, appetite, then we can tackle some of these things as we bring on some more developers to help. So this is all great feedback. All right, I think that wraps up a lot of the comments and questions. I think we were able to tackle most of them. Can you guys think of anything else that maybe we missed that would be, and then maybe we'll talk about Steam Next Fest in a minute with Al. But anything that you guys want to call out that maybe we missed? I guess the big takeaway is that we want people to use the feedback system in the game. So press F8.
Yeah.
We saw a couple reports of bugs with that system, so but it works for the most part. So absolutely use it. Press F8 to send us feedback or a suggestion or a bug, and you could always expand on anything you put there and come to the Discord server if you want to upload a video or screenshot of the problem. Absolutely do that. The Discord server again is discord.gg/intheblack. That is a player Discord. We would Jack and other members of the team are there all the day. I try to pop in when I can, but say hi. But the rest of the team is there during the day, and loves to chat. Check out that LT Gaming video, which is fantastic. A nice really review about what you get in the demo. So maybe we can drop that in the chat, Al, if you're able to. Otherwise, I can do it in a second. But I think that's a great video for everyone to watch who maybe has not downloaded the demo or you just want to get another perspective on it. That is LT Gaming. You just look up LT Gaming and you'll see. I think the video's got over 40,000 views. I saw as of this in just a couple of days. So check that out. Obviously, for news and announcements, you want to go to our Steam page, the Community Hub, in the news area. Al's doing a great job of keeping everybody posted there. We're posting patch notes. If you're a fan of the game, we would love you to engage on the discussion area on the Steam page. I think that's a fantastic place for you to go, not only to help other players who may be jumping in for the first time, maybe need some guidance, or if you want to share some great moments, screenshots, videos, we'd love to see that. It's super inspiring for the team too. We're trying to prioritize Steam versus Discord actually, because we know a lot of people will be on the Steam page. So try to do your part and help out there. That'd be fantastic. If you can help out in some of the comments that we're seeing on LT Gaming video of the game, some people questions there. We tried to reply to some of them, but for some reason our comments weren't going through. So if other players want to jump in there and try to help some of the questions, that would be great. All right, so we're gonna say goodbye in a few minutes. I want to thank everybody for joining us. I think in these last moments, uh, I want to talk about Steam Next Fest, which is coming up, which is one of the impetuses for doing the demo when we did. We thought it was a great opportunity for people to get visibility on what we're doing. Um, and Al has been working on, and Nathan has been helping, but working on kind of our plan. So Al, what's your take on what's going to be happening over the next few days? Next Fest starts on Monday. We did a press release.
Oh boy, yes. Press release went out. We shared a lot of the photos, videos, everything that we've been working up till now. I think one of the things that me and Nathan are specifically working on is the onboarding process. That's something that we've been seeing a lot of in the Steam comments as far as the tutorials and stuff like that. So me and Nathan have been working on creating content that is more in line with making sure that people understand what systems we have, why they matter, and also going through and figuring out ways so we can put them into more bite-sized pieces for people to digest. So if they had a more specific question about something, they can go and find it. But it's all about communicating what we have, what people need to know, and how we can make that better for the team going forward. So that's primarily what we've been working on. As far as Next Fest is concerned, that's a big docket item that we have our eyes on all the time. I mean, going into it, we want to make sure that we get full publicity. We want to make sure people are, being able to see it for the first time, or if they haven't seen it in a while, come back and see what we have. And a lot of what we're going to be doing going forward is going to come from the comments that we get from NextFest. So we're going to be recording everything. It's just going to be one big happy time, and I can't wait. It's going to be exciting.
Hell yeah.
It will be. I'm trying to unmute myself there. We got a good comment from one of the viewers, so we'll keep that in mind for next time. That next time we do this, make sure everyone's on Do Not Disturb on Discord, because some of the notifications are coming in on the audio. So we'll remember that next. We'll do a little checklist so we remember next time. But thank you for letting us know. Again, another great comment from our friend Super Dry Nuts. Hanging out. Super Dry Nuts has been the consistent voice on this live stream, so thank you for that. And actually, one of his latest comments, I remember when my games came with a physical manual. I miss those days. Well, we might not have a physical manual, but we have a pretty intense pilot manual.
Oh, yeah.
Al, if you get a chance, can you post that in the chat also?
Yes.
If you download the demo, you will actually see it right on the main screen. There's a link to the pilot manual. It'll bring you to the webpage. Dave Westman has been in charge of that, and he just did a big update over the last 24 hours. He's going to continue to update over the weekend in time for Next Fest. I would absolutely check out that manual. There's lots of information, and he added stuff specific to the demo in that manual. At least that's what he mentioned this morning. So we'll see if that's true.
And it should be on our Steam page relatively soon.
Oh, great! There's also an FAQ, I think, that should be available shortly if it's not already there. The FAQ and the pilot manual are two very important things that I share with the team that I think we really need to make sure it's very visible and will help answer a lot of repetitive questions quickly. Mm-hmm. So I think we've answered the big ones today. So I think here's one question. I think it might be the last one. This comes from Ava. Will there be any dedicated support chips? Like, obviously, something the scale of a carry would be ridiculous for a game of the scale. Well, actually, don't be so sure. We talked about this before, but something like a craft, repair, or rearm vessel. So obviously, the way some of the repair works right now in the game is you have these repair little drones, right, that come out and help and repair, and if you're in a certain zone. Right now, some of the visuals aren't really there, but the action happens, the repair happens. But what are your thoughts generally on support chips?
It's being worked on.
There you go.
Yeah, it's kind of great, honestly, seeing community feedback and watching that align with things that we've noticed and want to currently work on. Yeah, I think it's very validating both ways. Yeah.
Those are good final words. Very validating. I have to say, this whole experience of seeing the demo in people's hands and the comments we're seeing from the LT Gaming video, from our Discord, from YouTube, from our in-game feedback system, extremely validating and inspiring to the whole team at Impeller Studios. I am so proud of the work that everybody's put into it. I'm so proud of the fan base we have. Some of them have been following this game for years. It's really exciting, and this next step of the journey is basically where everything kind of comes together. Really excited to be on this journey with each of my colleagues here on the stream, Alex and Noah. We'll have other streams in the future. We definitely want to have Remco on here. We want to have Dave Westman on here. We want to have Nathan on here. Mike would be great to have. Definitely great members of the team that we'd love to introduce to everybody out there and who have specialized in different areas that can answer some of your questions. But thank you all for watching. Thank you, Al, for putting this together. Let us know any feedback you have for these live streams. If you think we need to be streaming somewhere else or in a different way, what worked, what didn't work. Maybe what we'll do is we'll set up a live streams channel on our Discord server where we'll post previous live streams and take your questions in advance for our next live stream, so we have some questions to go from. But yeah, thank you all for joining us on a lovely Saturday, and thanks to the developers here on the team. And you've been working very hard throughout the week. I'm lucky I get to come in on the weekend and kind of see what you guys did. But you guys have been working on it all week, and you're here spending your Saturday, which is very nice. Now, I expect all of you to get some rest. I'm talking to Noah and Alex and Al, get some rest. I think when the festival opens on Monday, you guys will be very busy, and I'll see where I can help out this weekend. But yeah, great job on everything. Again, thank you to all the fans for watching and supporting the game, new and old. It's been a real pleasure. All right, with that, I don't know if anyone has any final words. That's it for me.
No, thanks everyone.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you, everybody. Have a good
Bye.
Saturday. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Later.